Um, Alright, so I have some Affinity games here. I recorded them last night, but I lost the audio. So I'm going to re-record the audio to the best of my ability. Even though these games are losses at the end, I think that it demonstrated some really good gameplay. So I'm happy to upload these. So I'm considering what I'm going to do here. I did a keep. And now he's gonna, because he's Affinity, he's gonna empty his whole freaking hand, right? Cast a whole crap ton of things at 0. And I'm gonna sit here and feel sad for myself. So I do have a couple of good places to start. So I'll cast the forest into a hierarch. Try to ramp myself up to that turn 2 Thought-Knot Seer. Maybe pull something. The problem is there's so much stuff in the air, and I have very little ways of dealing with that in the deck before sideboarding. I have some sweepers in the sideboard, but he bolts my birds, and I'm left with a forest. So he's going to swing in for a couple. He's going to gain a life. Makes me angry, but there's nothing I can do about it. And I don't even have a next turn play, so I just drop the temple and ship turn. I got a couple of crashers, which can get through as blockers, which is nice. Okay. So anyway, he's got a wall, and I have 2 lands. And he's got an ink moth necklace. So he's now flying in for, 3 damage, gaining a life, bringing me down to 14. And I still have 2 lands. And he's back to where he started. So yay on that. So let's cast this Thought-Knot. He's only got 2 cards, so hopefully I can empty out something like cranial plating or something is what I'm really scared about. Yeah, so take the cranial plating. He casts another Memnite. And he's got that Etched Champion. It's not particularly great against us. But his battalion of air strikers is. So I'm not sure why he just attacked with just the Vault Scourge. He could have swung in quite easily for 4 that turn. But we top decked another Thought-Knot Seer, so we can see what's in here. Grab, I think, his last card. I mean, it's not going to be great, but at least his hand is empty. So reveal your hand so I can see that Etched Champion. We toss that out of there. He is ahead of me, but maybe he'll block with something. Probably an Ornithopter. I doubt he'll just take the damage. Well, maybe he will. Okay, so he's down to 17. So it's looking like we're kind of close. But we'll have to see. He's got another Ink Blink Moth Nexus. So he's now probably going to attack with everything. Just waits. Okay. Just with the two flying things. Okay, so he's got the 2 flying things. So I cast Smasher, because smashing is fun. Um, just swing for the raises. No, I was conservative here. Okay. Maybe I'm more aggressive in the morning than I would have been in the evening time. So I left up a couple blockers, likely to keep him from attacking with those Memnites. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, all right. So I've got 5 mana up, and then I've also got 2 Crashers. So I'm hoping he'll attack again, just like he has. He's going to tap his Inkmoth Nessuses. So he'll end up being tapped out. And then he'll swing in for the air that he can. Giving me the 3 damage. And I can double Crasher next turn. He's got nothing left in his hand. If I double Crasher, I can block the 2, but I decide to hold off. Just try to get in a little bit of damage here, so that if I get a blowout, it's definitely a blowout. So I send in 9, hoping maybe he'll block with Memnite or an Ornithopter. So he does block with a Memnite, so that's good. Memnites are the ones that I'm actually scared of here, because I can Crasher the 2 Ornithopters. So I'm super excited. I think I've got him here, right? Like, yeah, dude, you're going down. Because the next turn, you're swinging in for 3. And then you're going to leave the 2 Ornithopters and the Memnite up. I'm going to Crasher your 2 Ornithopters so they can't block. And I'm going to get through the rest of the damage. But I think he drops Cranial Plating here, if I recall. No. Oh, maybe I do have him this game. I think I do, which is good. The games are really close. So I'm down to 5, and then I'm laughing because this is game. So I cast, go down a life, cast Crasher 1. Cast Crash 2. I think I'm gonna let him gain the life. Cast Crasher 2. And then I'm gonna bolt the Memnite. Which will be the only critter that can block. And then I'm gonna just plow through with a whole whack of damage. Which is awesome. It's the way the deck should work. Exert him, and you go down to like -7, I think, if I remember. Yeah, -7. Okay, so that was game 1. So when looking at the sideboard situation, I bring in the Ratchet Bombs, of course, because he's got a bunch of little crap that I can get rid of. Some clearers. Those fire spouts I'm probably going to replace with Kozilek's. Some land destruction for his ink moths, etc. Get rid of. The Mind Stone, it's not particularly useful to me. Some smashers, I think, is the way I go. Reshapers are not particularly good for me as well in this matchup, given how much of the stuff is in the air. So get rid of those. They're an easy target. A Thought Knot, a Smasher, all of the Smashers, I think. Which I think is a bit of a mistake, but I think I like over sideboard in this game. So I keep this monstrosity, and I really probably shouldn't. 4 lands, 2 removal spells, and a Hierarch is not greatest. Again, here he goes emptying his whole freaking hand. So I got the Crumble to Dust, which is fun, but it doesn't really matter with Darksteel Citadel. So I bolt the Signal Pest. He casts another Signal Pest. Gets in for 1 damage. On the Ancient Stirrings, see what I get. Grab the Thought Knot, I think. Yeah. Throw down a Temple so I can potentially Thought Knot next turn. He gets his damn Cranial Plating. So he tosses on his Cranial Plating for 9, plus the Signal Pest, which then gets 10, 11 damage, I think, and he gains 10. This is ugly. This is ugly, ugly amount of damage. So I Cavernous Souls here, toss down for Eldrazi. I Natural State that Cranial Plating, of course. And then I think I Ratchet Bomb and blow up all of his 0 cast creatures. Because it clears off 3 of his things, including his mana sources. So I'm feeling a little more confident now. I mean, he's up on life on me, but all he's got is a Signal Pest. So that's not fabulous for him. He's got no cards in hand, so I decide to give him another life and crumble to dust away his Blink Moss Nessus. Removes potentially 4 land from his deck that are difficult for me to deal with. And I see what he does. Which isn't very much. I think he just sits there. Cast myself a Noble Hierarch. And I cast myself Thought Knot Seer. Leaving up a green for another Noble Hierarch if I decide to cast it this turn. He's got nothing but a mountain. And then I pass turn. Because rather than take the damage, which isn't necessary because it can't actually attack with it, it can't tap or do anything. He's got himself a Steel Overseer finally. Another Hierarch. Tap one Hierarch for another Hierarch. Give him another life, I think, which is not great. I've given him lots, 6 life. It's probably a bit of an error too. We have a 7/7 Thought Knots here, which is scary. Gives himself another opal. Cast the Thundering Herd of a Thought Knot Seer. The 7, and then I pump him up a lot. As much as I can. I go with the gain a life option for the red, I think. Just because, you know, why not? He's gonna take so much extra damage, 5 extra damage. So now he's like 12. I'm again feeling pretty confident here. I'm like, yeah, I got you, Buggy. And he's gonna toss on the Signal Pest, but I think that this is where this cranial plating comes. I know I get hosed by a surprise cranial plating. I thought it was the last game, but I think it's this one here. Yeah, there it is. So then he gets just enough, I think, because he throws that cranial plating on to that Signal Pest, which can fly in the air, or can't be blocked, I guess, by ground creatures for 8. So that's enough. He could also tap and put an extra counter on it. So I concede because I lost. We were 8-8. One more turn and I'd have won. So I liked how the Thought Knot played out. So I took another one. The Crumble to Dust didn't work as well for me as I thought it would. So get the life. Potentially, and then I ship the deck. And this game is so super close to the end. It takes us a while. So I'm kind of happy with this. I got lots of removal in the form of the Lightning Bolt and the Ratchet Bomb. Can start again with a Hierarch, which means, you know, if there's nothing in the way, I can be really aggressive with a 4/4 Crasher. He's got a Signal Pest. A Grove. No, I'll go with a 4/4 Crasher. Might have been better off in hindsight to play like Bolt the Pest, or just lay down a Ratchet Bomb, swing in with the Noble Hierarch instead, save the Crasher for later. But I was like, next turn I could Bloodbraid Elf, but the Crasher is not really great right now except for the 4 damage, right? I mean, it's nice to get in for the 4, but he might have been better off to save him. Because had I had that Ratchet Bomb on the board, I'd already could have had it tick to 1, or I could tick it to 1 now and then blow up stuff. She's got a Ravager. And so I'm okay with this because I think what I do is I bolt the Ravager. I bolt the Ravager and lay down the Ratchet Bomb. Maybe, again, a better play would have been the Bloodbraid Elf. There's not a lot to be scared of quite yet. And I could have pulled removal that I cast, hard cast, with the Bloodbraid Elf. Might have made the difference. But I get in for 5. Throw down this Ratchet Bomb. Crank it up to 1. Here comes this cranial plating. So he equips the cranial plating. And I get scared of the cranial plating. I dig with the elf. I think, hoping to get something. I don't think I play the Thought-Knots here, because, I mean, seeing what's in his hand is good, but potentially removing something is better. So I go with this option. Cast the elf, but I think I don't get very much. I think I get like a Hierarch or something stupid. No Obligator, which is good, but I don't have the like if I had enough mana up, I could have stolen that Signal Pest, and that might have turned the game a little bit better for me. So maybe a Thought-Knot would have been a better play there. I think I gotta remember to... The Bloodbraid Elf, leaving the 2 mana up is almost essential, I think. Like a 6 mana cost, because that really swings the game. So I exert him to get in the damage. Because I'm like, well, this is gonna be 9 damage, which takes him down to 4. But he dispatches one of my creatures. So instead of taking him down to 4, I only take him down to 7. So it's a solid play on his part. And now he's going to move the cranial plating. because he's just afraid. Like, I'm waiting on... I'm waiting because if he attacks with the cranial plating on, then I can blow up the signal pest and then it slows him down a turn. If he moves the cranial plating, then my plan is to ratchet up the bomb one more and then blow it up next turn. Which is what I end up doing. Takes him a second to realize what's going on. Or what he wants to do. He thinks for a bit. Thinking for a bit. Thinking for a bit. I do like it when they're thinking. At least it shows me that they're playing and I'm playing well. When the lines of play are easy, then you know that you're just following in kind of the standard route, which doesn't make me particularly happy. I'd like to be a bit of a challenge. So he can still do the same amount of damage he did before. My Crasher is exerted, which means he's not untapping. If he swings with everything, I can attack for 5 with the Obligator next turn. So that's good. But he's going to gain 5 life when he swings in, right? So that slows me down a lot because it's going to be basically a wash. The damage that I can do next round is going to be balanced off by... He's basically just going to take 5 of my life and give it to himself, and then I'm going to be down 1 from the... even more because of the Signal Pest trigger, and then the Signal Pest damage from the token before. So in response, I put the charge on the Ratchet Bomb because I don't want to take that kind of damage again. I'm not sure why he's thinking here. Like, you just got to resolve the bot, or just resolve the attack here. But it takes a little while. Oh, Affinity, how do I want to beat you? Affinity. Your deck, it is just a bunch of poo. You beat me down. You are too fast. Your lines of play, they kick my attitude. Affinity. Resolve the play I'm singing. Come on. Didn't feel like it was taking this long last night, but who knows? Maybe I had a nap. Kind of fell asleep. Maybe he fell asleep. Lots of sleeping. Oh, there we go. I checked to see if he's okay here. Maybe he died, you know. It's like, wow, what happened to you? Well, he's obviously there. So he puts up the Blink Moss, which actually is a good play because it increases the Ornithopter even more, which is slick. I didn't even consider that. The cranial plating gets an extra 1, which surprisingly is relevant with how close this game is. He's doing some mental math or something. He's got lots of time. So I take my 8 damage, going down to 5, but he's going to gain some life. No, he doesn't gain life, right? The cranial plating doesn't give him life. I'm confusing that with a cranial plated... flying bugger. So at least I'm not worrying about the life total. So I blow up the plating. I cast... the elf. I am worried about potentially getting smote with a galvanic blast. Oh yeah, so if I pulled maybe anything relevant here that could have made the difference, but I don't. So I can attack for 6, or I can attack for 6. So I think I just attack with the Obligator. I'm thinking here. I'm not sure why I did it that way. Not that it really matters. He goes down to 2. He blasts me. I'd have been better off almost to thought not. He'd have blasted me anyway. And then that's it. Because he's got air damage enough to kill me. So boom. That was it, the Affinity match. So lots of misplays on my part, but I do like that the deck held up pretty well. To Affinity, which is normally a game that's terrible for me. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this Affinity, and we'll see you next time.